Hello, and welcome to Rolling Out Star Studio. I am your host, Portia Monique. And today, as you guys can see, we have a beautiful guest, Anika Noni Rose, who's also a Tony Award-winning actress, singer, producer, and author, and so much more. Okay, we've seen her in some of our favorite roles. One of my favorite is, of course, Dreamgirls as L'Oreal. Don't get me to start singing, okay? But we also know her as Disney's Tiana's princess. She was the first Black princess for Disney. She was in The Stars. She played Jukebox on Power. She did Raisin in the Sun, Tony Award winner. I mean, she is on fire. She also did Them. And then let me tell y'all what else she did. She did Maid. Have y'all seen that yet? I'm just letting y'all know she is here for it because she definitely is bringing it. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, Anika.
Thank you very, very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you've done all of that, but today we're going to talk about Being Seen, a podcast, season 3. You're going to be the host. Tell us more.
Well, it's really about the space in which Black women and femmes are seen and how they wish to be seen. So we're talking about a lot of issues. We're talking about the bias and stigma that Black women face every day that significantly affect their health, both mentally and physically. We're talking to some illustrious people about their life journeys and the struggles that they've had to surmount in order to be where they are. We talk about a lot of joy. Laughter is a subject matter, but it's really prioritizing Black women in a space of conversation, which is really important because when you think about our society, the stereotype about Black women is that we are strong, we are stalwart, we can handle anything. And that's very dangerous,
Yes.
To be perfectly honest. We're strong. Yes, we can handle lots of things because we've had to handle lots of things. But do we crack? Do we break? Are we vulnerable? Are we unhealthy mentally at times? Do we deal with depression? Are we sad? Could we use some assistance, some help, a hand, some empathy? All of those things are also true.
Yeah.
And until we recognize those things, we will continue to be fighting the same fight. And I say we, and I mean our society, but I also want to say we ourselves. It's important for ourselves, for us to say, no, I'm not having a good day. No, I'm not perfect. No, I am not a rock of Gibraltar. Because when we don't, we miss out. We get mistreated in the health system. We get overlooked in the health system. Our pain is ignored physically and mentally, and that has to change. It has to change.
Absolutely, it has to change. And I was having this conversation the other day about strong Black women, and it really isn't a compliment, especially for those of us who are really strong. Like, it's like, why do we have to be strong all the time, Yeah. So I'm really happy that you guys are doing this podcast. Let's explore some of the themes. I did take a listen to season 3, episode 1, Strength and Power. You have Letticy and Roxane Gay, who is a New York Times bestselling author. Let's talk about power.
Well, it's a really interesting segment because when you hear Letticy's voice, and Letticy right now is up for a Grammy for her album, Letticy Sings Nina, in the pop category.
Yes.
You hear that voice, there's no question about the power that she wields, right? That voice is ridiculous. But part of the power in that voice is not only how strong she sings, how loud she can sing, or how high she can sing, but how softly, how tenderly, how small she can be also with her voice. That's how you recognize power. It ebbs and flows. Roxane Gay is someone who has surmounted lots of challenges and is constantly in battles on social media, from people who are coming to her from the wrong angle and being cruel and unkind because of a physical image that, or they're intimidated by her mind.
Yeah.
These women, you know, you look at them and we think, of course, they're powerful. They're at the top of their game. Roxane Gay left her publicist because the publishers, because they were going to publish some white supremacist nonsense, and she said, "Not while you also publishing me." And
not
she made
my
a
watch.
Lettucey is somebody who has challenged the whole music business, and her whole album that's out now, she did it on her own with her own money. But these are women who are also dealing with insecurities and fear and sadness and you know, the need to be accepted in a space, the need to be heard and seen as they want to be seen is a constant struggle. And so we talk about power and what power means and how power changes as you change and as you grow and as you get older, and as your priorities change, because it's also not a static thing. It all changes.
Yeah. And I was listening and I heard both of the women's, their definition of power. And I was sitting there wondering, I was waiting on your definition of power to come through. And I know you're hosting, but I still want to ask you, when you think of power for yourself, what does that mean for you?
It means different things. Sometimes it means being able to call the shots in my business. I'd love to have more of that kind of power. Sometimes it's the power of saying no. I'm very comfortable with that power. I had to learn to be comfortable with that, because your impulse is to say yes when people ask you to do something. Yes, when they want you to donate yourself in some way. Yes, yes, yes. Either because you don't want it to dry up, or because you're grateful, and because you want to, you know, be able to assist somebody else. But sometimes you have to assist yourself, and saying no is a way to protect your own mental health and your own space. So I think that both of those things are power, but also there's the power of knowing that you are proficient in what you do, proficient, good, that you are singular in the thing that you do, and making sure that you claim that space and hold it and utilize it. Those are all power places.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. There was a quote in the podcast from Roxane Gay when I think her tagline, either on her Instagram or her Twitter, is something similar. I laughed so hard when I heard it, but it's something similar to, I like to clap because I like to clap back.
You clap, I clap back.
You clap, I clap back. If you want it, we can go there.
Yes, you know where you're going when you step to the space.
Yeah.
Because people try her all the time. I don't know why. She's so brilliant. Like, you know, you're about to get your feelings hurt. You know, she's about to hit you with some word never heard. And she's going to do it in such a way that maybe you don't even know you were cut in the moment. You know, you closed your computer and bled out and didn't even know it was coming. But she warned you. But she has to be that way because of the way that people come towards her. And we talk about that too, that the fact that the internet is truly such an unsafe space for Black women.
It is.
People feel like they can say, do whatever they want on the internet to Black women. Do other people get filleted on the internet and stalked and trolled? And yes, they do.
Yeah.
But when you think about Black women and the way that we are treated as if we do not matter in the space of humanity, we really get the brunt of that, and it's consistent. So, you know, we talk about how you hold yourself together in that space that we are supposed to be in for our jobs or for life, or because we have the right to be there.
Yeah.
How do you hold yourself together and hold yourself strong against that type of attack? How do you work within that space, and how do we change that?
Yeah.
How do we change that narrative so that people don't think, oh, it's just a Black woman, we'll just say whatever we want?
Yeah.
No, you won't.
No. So unprotected, you know, just so unprotected as Black women. And how do we change that? Let's start changing that. Let's talk about some of the other guests, season 3. So we've only been able to hear one episode, right? So I'm excited to hear the rest. But let's talk about some of the other women that you have on as guests. You got Taraji P. Henson, Dominique Jackson. Let's talk about some of those ladies.
Yes, Taraji is talking about her foundation that she started to talk about, deal with, and assist Black folks specifically with mental health. And you know, the moment you say mental health or mental health issues, people get quiet or they get tight or or they think crazy. You know, that's the word we want to associate with that. But really, it's, you know, you need to take care of your mental health like you take care of your physical health. You go to the gym to keep things strong and keep your muscles limber. You got to keep your brain limber too. And there's no shame in exercising your brain and making sure that your brain is healthy and as elastic as it can be. Taraji talks a lot about perfection and how she's a Virgo, as am I. So we know that space very well. How that struggle for perfection is so deeply dangerous because nobody's perfect. Nobody can get to perfection, and you damage yourself with that as your goal. So we talk about that a lot. And we talk also about the need to talk about mental health in our community. Sometimes it's not enough to go to church. Sometimes you need to employ someone for whom it is their job to assist you in dealing with the things that are going on in your mind.
Yes.
So that you can function in this world. And there is no shame in that. And very often Black folks, particularly Black women, no, particularly Black men, but Black women, we don't need that. That's not for us.
We got God.
That's not,
well, that's not for us. We got God.
We got God. God, as far as I know, helps those who help themselves.
Exactly.
So this is part of the helping ourselves. This does not say forget God and forget church. Definitely use God, use your church, but also use the tools that God has created. And, you know, therapy is there to assist us. And it's not shameful to take therapy, to utilize therapy. No, your therapist is not going to leave the room and go put your business in the street because they can't.
Right.
Just like your lawyer can't. But who can leave the room and feel like a whole human being is you.
Is you. Absolutely. Oh, I can't wait to hear that one. But I know that's not episode 102.
So 102 drops tomorrow.
Yes, it launches tomorrow. And so you're talking with responsibility. You're talking with Sydney Barber, Taya Mills. Is it Taya or Tia Mills? Taya Mills and Martha Jones. Responsibility.
Yes, Martha Jones, who wrote the book Vanguard, which is an amazing, amazing book about the women who have come before us and what they have done. There are 3 amazing women, Sydney Barber being the youngest of the 3. And she has an amazing career in the service. And she is someone to watch and to pay attention to because she didn't have an easy life. And she found herself in a place of power and a place of responsibility over, I believe, 40,000 people. And she was the first brigadier commander, a Black woman to be such. And it is a responsibility that she didn't even want, but she took it because of all those who came before her who didn't have that opportunity. And she continues to shine really, really brightly. She is amazing. She's a young woman. She's on the rise and she's amazing. And then Taya, I'm trying to be more specific about Taya. Taya is somebody whose work you would definitely want to become familiar with. She wrote a book called All That She Carried, and she's an amazing historian. And All That She Carried is about us. I was trying to find a picture, but I can't find it fast enough. Was about us, an enslaved woman whose child was stolen from her, sold. And she sent her with a sack with a lock of hair I think 6 pecans, 6 or 12 pecans. Maybe one other thing that I can't remember. And on the outside, her great grandchild or her great granddaughter wrote, "This bag was sent with my mother Rose." And in it was this. But it's about what we pass on to our children, how we give our children strength, who writes our stories, how do we keep that story going, how do we keep our history alive and well, and how do we persevere when a system is in place that means that we have no power at all? How do we find the power within that? How do we express love in a space that has denied us the ability to do so on a consistent level? And I saw this bag. I saw it at the Smithsonian African American Museum. And it was stunning to me. And I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. It was embroidered. I've always wanted to learn embroidery. And then I got closer and I saw what it said, and I was mind blown. So pretty. It doesn't seem, in looking at it, that it is something so devastatingly poignant. And so her book is about the journey of that bag and the journey of that mother and child and grandchild, both from facts that she has found. And then she also creates a narrative around that, pulling all the facts that she could find to create as much of a narrative as she could for these people for whom we often have no narrative.
Wow. Astonishing. What's the name of the book again? What's the name of the book?
All that she carried.
So definitely going to put that in rotation for our book club, because that is definitely something that I think we all should know about. It's giving me chills. Oh my God. But so intriguing. Yeah, definitely we'll have to put that on rotation for one of our book club meetings. Now let's also talk about what are some of the other things that you guys talk about in season 3?
Well, the podcast is sponsored by a group called Vive Healthcare. Vive Healthcare is an organization that focuses on HIV and developing medicines within the world of HIV. And they focus specifically on Black women. And that is important because Black women are disproportionately affected by HIV. Our infection rates are so much higher than everyone else's. And many of the Black women living with HIV do not have access to medication.
Right.
Vive Healthcare did a study in New Orleans where the rates of HIV amongst Black women and femmes are very high. And they have developed medication that these women can take once a day, as opposed to 6 or 12 times a day that you used to have to do when the HIV epidemic first started. They found ways to give these women information so that they are armed with the information that they need in order to get treatment, so that they know that they can live fulfilling lives, that they can live as long a lifespan as they would have lived before becoming infected with HIV, if they are medicated and they know all the things that they need to know, which is very important. And I learned something from them, and that is the phrase U equals U. So if you have undetectable levels of HIV in your blood, you are unable to infect your partner. And the new medications that are out can make people's levels in their blood undetectable, meaning you can have a loving relationship without the fear of infection on either side. That is something that was, knowledge to me. And it gives people hope, and it gives people information in a different way. And it's so important to have Black women at the forefront of medicine, because we are so often not the group that is studied. We're not the group that was part of the study. So they don't know whatever this is, whatever drug is going to do in our bodies, which reacts differently to things. It's DNA. That's just what happens. We need to be at the forefront of medicine and of healthcare. And this group puts us at the forefront, specifically in the land of HIV infection and living with HIV.
Bravo. So all of this great information, how do we connect with the podcasts?
The podcasts are available where all podcasts are on Apple, iTunes, Apple Music. Sorry, I forget. Apple has changed their thing, and I'm still trying to say iTunes. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay.
And also on Spotify. So you can find the podcast that way, and it's really informative. It's really intimate. It is a way for you to get to know these women and femmes in a way that you wouldn't otherwise, and it's something I'm really proud of.
Yes, I think it's definitely something to be proud of. Now, there's also a component with the art of it as well, right? So there's some visual art that's curated in every episode. It's different. How do we view that? Do you have to go to the website to view that as well?
You can go to the website. I always, the day before or the day of the drop, will be posting a video or just straight up art squares letting you know, and they will show the artist for that episode. I'm trying to think of the woman we had for the last week's episode was Kiana. I can't think of Kiana's last name. I'm gonna look real quick and see if I can pull it up, because she did some beautiful art. Here we go. Kiana Parks.
I was looking it up too. Okay, yeah.
Also a DJ. She did some amazing art. And the thing about the art for the series is that it's all Black women.
Yeah.
Mostly Black women. There was one Black man so far. But it speaks to what is happening, and it makes you have a visceral reaction to what you're looking at, that hopefully will draw you in to what we are doing, because it's not just your regular old everyday and here's a cartoon drawing. It's really moving, beautiful, colorful, rich depictions of, you would have to decide what it is for you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for stopping by Rolling Out Star Studio, talking about the Being Seen podcast presented by Viv Healthcare. Every 10 episodes. So every episode will be released every week, every Tuesday. We look forward to it. Now, let me ask you this before you get out of here. Is there also going to be a video component to it? Is it strictly all audio?
It's all.
Okay.
And you'll be glad for that, because one day I had a cold, I was in pajamas. It's all audio. That's grateful.
Of course, audio works. We love audio, but I was just wondering if there was going to be a video component to it as well. But the art is enough. So go to the website, look at the art. That's enough as well. Yeah.
Art is amazing. And I will say this, I love a video as well, but the thing about an audio podcast is that you really take the words in a different way. Mm-hmm. There's no distraction. It's you and what you're hearing. And I think it makes it a much more intimate experience. So hopefully people will enjoy it.
I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow's as well. Thank you so much for stopping by Rolling Out Star Studio. Let us know, where can we find you if people don't already know, because you are Anika Noni Rose.
I am on Instagram, Anika Around the World. I'm on Twitter, Anika Noni Rose. Visit me there, check me out, see what I'm doing, and I'll get back to you. I'm there. It's me.
Speaking of what you're doing, what you got coming up for the holiday season?
I don't know. I have the Being Seen happening. Made is out now. My voice is in a movie called Killing Kenneth Chamberlain, which will be on HBO Max very soon, about the murder of Kenneth Chamberlain Sr., who was a Black vet with mental disability who was killed by the police when they were called for a wellness check. It's a very intriguing and unfortunate story. I just put out a single called So Much More, which was inspired by Made. And that can be gotten from Apple Music. And
what do you mean single? You're not just gonna drop that out and just say I just dropped a single. What do you mean single? You singing?
I am singing. It's called So Much More. It was inspired by Maid, and it is really a love letter to single mothers and women who are dealing with domestic violence in their homes and lives, who are being ignored by the system and fighting really hard to make it. Some of the proceeds will go to the Genesis Center, which deals with domestic violence intervention and prevention for women, children, families that are in that space, and they do it in a local, national, and worldwide platform. So it's something that I wrote it with Phil Lawrence and David Nathan, and I'm hoping that people enjoy it, and I hope it'll help the Genesis Center generate some funds for them. And it was just a labor of love.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go get that. Is it out now?
It is.
Okay, I'm going to go get that right now today. So Much More. And if you guys have not seen her in May, please go watch it. I know this month marks a totally different month, but of course, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And if you haven't seen Made, it definitely explores those things as well. And Anika is starring in it as well. And it's very good. It had a lot of mixed reactions, but I resonated with it, and it was a good series on Netflix. Made, all of that. And then if you haven't, go out and get her single that she just kind of peppered in there. Oh, I dropped a single. So humbly. Yeah, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. You guys come back for Rolling Out Star Studio. I'm your host, Portia Monique. Anika Noni Rose, it's been a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you, Portia. Always good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.